Hello, this video will be on user-defined functions in Excel, custom formulas, custom functions, call it whatsoever, but this is what it's going to do. The practice I'm going to use to expose us to custom functions in Excel, it's going to use VBA anyway, is I run my own business and we do a lot of training services. So typically we invoice people and usually the total amount is always inclusive of VAT. Meaning at the end of the month when I'm having to do my tax payment, I always need to extract out the VAT amount from the total payment. So I will be doing VAT extraction and then the net amount. So this VAT plus net amount should equal the total amount. The formula, it's not as straightforward as what I originally thought it should be, right? Because I was expecting you simply, let's say like in Nigeria, VAT is 5%. So I was originally, what I used to do was to take the total amount, right, and then multiply it by the VAT, and this was what I was paying to government. But it was wrong because I was paying as if this calculation is taking it as if this is exclusive of VAT. So if you go ahead and you do this plus this, it's essentially what I should have done is do a VAT on top of the net amount, and then the net amount plus VAT will be equal to this, right? So my formula was treating it as if this was the net amount, which was wrong, because if this was what I was doing, then it means my total amount that was supposed to give me 29,000 as VAT would be this. So I was essentially paying the government, which is a terrible thing to do in Nigeria, to give money to a government that is not even well performing. So I had to learn the right way to do it. And before creating this user-defined function, which I'm going to walk us through, I always find myself going online and then using a software online where I will input the values and it will calculate for me the VAT amount and what's my total amount, after VAT, right? So this will be the net amount, this will be the VAT I'm supposed to pay. But I'm going to show us how with custom function I can create a formula where I can simply say VAT, right? And then I'm going to say the total amount, then comma the VAT percentage, and it should give me what the VAT should be, right? And then I'm going to have to do the same. Currently it's not going to work now because as you can see, I don't have a custom function already made, but we're going to make it. Then I could do another one and call it maybe VAT net amount, right? And then I'll pick the total amount and do 5%, and it will get me the net amount, excluding of VAT now, right? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to create a user-defined function. So let's get started. So you go to developer. In case your developer tab is not showing, you might need to enable it first by going to file and options, customize ribbon, and if yours is not enabled, this is what you will see. Just make sure it's ticked and do OK. That way you have developer tab. So once you have developer tab like I do now, you go there and you click on Visual Basic. It will bring you straight here. What we're going to do is first we're going to insert a new module where we'll put in the custom functions. So I'm going to go to insert and I'll click on module. All right, and then now I can start writing the function. So custom functions in VBA, the keyword is function. You start it with, so I'm going to say function, and then the function I want to write, let's start with the one that will calculate the VAT. So what will I call the function name? Whatever name you type in here is exactly the name you will have to use in Excel. So I'm going to call this VAT. This will calculate the VAT amount. So it's going to take in total. So it's going to take in total, and then it's going to take in the VAT percentage. So it's going to take in total, but total is a currency, so I'll say total as currency, and Okay, and then after that 2 comma, it's going to also take in the VAT. Let's call that VAT percentage. It's going to take in the VAT percentage. This is as a, let's say, a single, so it's not going to be really big. So a single. All these are data types in Excel, in VBA, so you should get familiar with them. There's currency, there's double, integer, single, string, but those are by the way in this particular one we're working on. All right, so this is what I've done now. Created a function, user defined function called VAT. It's going to take in a currency value, total, also take in percentage value, which is decimal by use single, and then it will return the VAT as currency. So what will the formula have? The formula is going to have a very simple, it's going to be equal to, I'm going to like to round it, everything up to 2 decimal places. So let's say round, and then it's going to take in the total. So I'm going to put in total, so this total here, and times VAT percentage, so times VAT percentage. Don't worry about the spacing. You can notice I didn't put space. By the time I click on I'm done, go to the next line, Excel will automatically space them out. So don't worry too much about whether that will affect your program. Nope. So divided by 1, that's the formula actually for when you're doing VAT inclusive. So 1 plus VAT percentage. Okay, so this is it, and then I have to, as you can see, I have to specify to how many decimal places, so to 2 decimal places. And this is it for the VAT. And yeah, like I said, Excel will space it out for you. You can see it spaced everything out well for me. So I'm done with this one. I would like to also do the one for the VAT net amount. Yeah, so I'll call it function VAT. You'll notice I'm not putting in any comments. Well, this is a very simple calculation. If I was doing a commercial work and you want to make it really professional, then I'll snuck in 1 or 2 line comments in there. But in this case, let's focus on what's most important. Let's finish off the. So again, it will be total. It will take in total as currency. Total as currency, and then VAT percentage as single, and it will return VAT net amount also as currency. And let me just copy, paste. So this is going to be really interesting, because what we'll be doing here is basically just taking, I'm going to take it from here, this, right? I'm copying that. I've copied it, so let me show you. I've copied it, and then equal to, so this will be total, then minus that. Then I would like to wrap everything in round, so I can have it come up in 2 decimal places. And this should get it done for me. So let's go check it out. So I'm going to come back in here, and the moment I do equal to VA, you'll see it's now there. So equal to VAT, and then this comma 5%, and let's see, it's gotten out for me the VAT amount, right? And let's do for the net VAT amount. So I'm going to say VAT, okay, VAT net amount, and then again the value, then 5%, right? You could put in decimal, 0.05. Excel is smart, it will know. And I have the full net amount, and I can drag this down. So I'll do for the rest, and problem solved. So now I have a simple formula, that does the VAT calculation for me, I don't have to memorize or again have to go to a website to do it. So now I have it all in Excel, and let's run a check if it's correct, right? This net amount plus VAT should be equal to this. I'm going to do equal to this plus this. Yeah, I think it's correct. You see, yeah, it's correct. And that's how you create a user-defined function in Excel. Don't forget to save. And the only issue with this is if this file is not open, I cannot be able to access the formula. So I'm creating a new Excel file, right? If I do that, you'll see I'm not able to access it from this other one, right? It's tied to that particular file. So that's you might need to save it as an heading. So let me show you how you do that. So you go to File, Save As, Browse, and then you choose heading. I'm going to look for it. Yeah, so as an heading, and then if I do save,